Hello and welcome back to Second Edition. I'm Owette McGough.
And I'm Tristan Maylers.
Edmonton has been abuzz with several events that has brought the community together. The Edmonton Police Service recently hosted an Easter egg hunt that was designed for visually impaired children.
The Canadian Animal Blood Bank at NAIT has been busy gathering donations to help pets in need. And we also take a look at the latest on the delayed Valley Line LRT.
But first, we'll get into the increase on alcohol tax. Canadians will have to dig deeper into their pockets to purchase alcohol, as the government has announced an increase in alcohol tax. Those who enjoy their alcoholic beverages will have to pay more starting this month. A 6.3% tax increase on alcohol products is now affecting Canada, affecting all beer, wine, and spirits sold across the country. The biggest jump in nearly 40 years.
Cannot tell a lie. We were quite shocked to hear that there was potentially a 6% increase. But it's not really a big surprise because every year the government does raise the alcohol tax as per inflationary rates. Hence why they originally wanted to do a 6% increase. So at this moment, with a 2% increase, we're quite pleased that they put a cap on it.
As the tax increase takes effect, Michelle did mention that the Nest plans on keeping prices student-friendly. But the only time will tell how this will impact the alcohol industry and other Canadian consumers who enjoy their drinks.
The Edmonton Valley Line LRT has been a highly anticipated project for the city, promising to provide a fast, reliable, and sustainable mode of transportation. However, the project has been facing significant delays. The Valley Line LRT is a highly anticipated project for the city, promising to provide a fast, reliable, and sustainable mode of transportation. However, the project has been facing significant delays and accidents, causing frustration among commuters and raising concerns about its completion for Edmontonians. Still remain hopeful.
Valley Line LRT is a really good addition to Edmonton's public transport because it helps students anywhere in that area to come and take that transport instead of driving. It saves a lot of gas.
Despite the recent accidents involving the Valley Line LRT, the city's residents continue to remain hopeful and understand that progress often comes along with challenges and setbacks.
Last week, the dogs were out and they went to the veterinary clinic in Spruce Grove to donate blood. But this time they came to us. The Canadian Animal Blood Bank visits NAIT and hosts at the Animal Health Clinic. 13 different donor dogs give enough blood to save up to 3 lives. The partnership supports students in the animal health technology as well as our beloved canine friends undergoing illnesses, injuries, surgeries, and other situations in need of care.
We have a designated phone here at the clinic, and the client will call the clinic or text the clinic and let us know that they're here with their pet. Then we will get a small sample of their blood to check if they are anemic, if they have an infection. It just gives us a good general overview of their health.
Donor dogs are still needed. For people who are interested to help can come to the next appointments on April 18th, May 6th, and May 16th.
We are already springing into Easter this month. Members of the Edmonton Police Bomb Unit created custom beeping eggs for visually impaired children to participate in an Easter egg hunt. The Edmonton Police Service teamed up with the Edmonton Police Foundation for the Beeping Eggs project. The event features a bunny petting zoo, booths to support the group of kids, and hidden eggs for the hunt. Detective Ryan Catcher started the initiative for the Western Canada for the first time last year.
Visually impaired and blind children can engage in the age-old game of an Easter egg hunt. Now, it is an inclusive event with their families, so they have sighted brothers and sisters. So we also hide regular plastic eggs as well as the custom-made beeping eggs for the blind and visually impaired youth.
Known as the Rodeo project in the U.S., where bomb technicians practice their skills to make these eggs. In sports, we have some squash action happening at the Edmonton Squash Club.
And some impressive athleticism from the Jordan Baker Showcase. Our Tristan Johnston joins us now with more on that.
The Ooks men basketball head coach Jordan Baker is having a high school showcase game here at the NAIT Gymnasium, where some future Ooks recruits will have the ability to show off their talents in an all-star style game. Players look to come together to take part in one of the last games of their high school careers as they prepare to transition into college basketball. This gives a chance for the Ooks coaching staff to connect with some of these future players' talents and personalities.
Showcase is more just a celebration, give some of these grade 12s an opportunity to play one last game in front of friends and family. just have a different level of competition. So, it's more of a celebration for these student athletes than anything.
Keep your eye out for some of these players as these future NAIT recruits will look to lace up for the UKS 2023-24 season starting this October. You can visit naitooks.com for more updates on the upcoming season and rosters. This last Sunday wrapped up the Edmonton Squash Club PSA Open Tournament, where 16 of the world's top 200 players from all over the world faced off to take on the $6,000 grand prize. There were 3 Canadian players in the tournament that ran from March 30th to April 2nd, but neither of them could make it past the quarterfinals as it came down to Veer Shotrani of India and the Czech Victor Bertis. Fans packed the stands for the final game to spectate the biggest squash event in Edmonton of the year.
I mean, it's a great place, great people, the crowd was amazing. My hosts, they were the best. I think that was the best part of the tournament. They were taking the best care of for me. And yeah, it was just an overall great experience here.
Bertis would win the tournament 3-1 as they look towards the UCNY PSA Classic. Fans hope that a tournament of this size will help bring more international attention to the city and potentially get more people involved in the sport here in Edmonton. I don't know about you guys, but I sure am excited to see how these grade 12 recruits end up turning out for the UKS this season.
Yeah, honestly,
I agree.
Me too. I'm really pumped for UKS basketball to come back.
I don't know about you guys, but I am ecstatic to see some squash being played here in our city.
Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at how the St. Albert Housing Society is helping those in need find safe and affordable housing. And we'll see all things Orchid from the Orchid Society of Alberta.
Plus, we'll also hear about Breast Friends, a support group about women who have been affected by breast cancer. Stay tuned for more.
The rising cost of living is becoming more challenging every day, and the housing market continues to rise.
Brandon Elias has more on this story with the St. Albert Housing Society.
As the cost of goods and services continues to rise, people are finding it very difficult to make ends meet. With inflation continuously rising, it's becoming an ongoing issue of people trying to find their forever or their first home. Today we should sit down with Cheryl Dumont as she tells us how the St. Albert Housing Society helps the public like us find that forever home. Okay, so I'm here with Cheryl Dumont right now from the St. Albert Housing Society, and just want to dive right into what does the St. Albert Housing Society actually do?
I'm pleased to tell you what St. Albert Housing does in St. Albert. We are a society. We have been around for about 15 years. And our work that we do is really twofold. We are a working board, a 10-member working board. And one of the things we do is we work with developers in town to work with them to help create affordable units within their projects. And then the other part of the program, Brandon, that we do is called the Home Connections program. And that Home Connection program really helps someone that just needs a leg up. They maybe can't even afford the rents that are 10 to 15% below market rate. So in those situations, often for young mums that are single mums that are trying to get an education, we will help them with $100 or $200 a month from our funds to make sure that they can afford that first year or maybe year and a half's rent.
What's some really good advice that you can give to new home buyers and people my age and younger that are trying to think about their future as to where they want to get a new home and when and what's the right time and how to go about it?
I love working with young people and especially when I'm helping them budget because you do need to have a plan and a budget in order to save money for a down payment for a house. So if you have a goal and a good plan, you're going to get there. And you know, by setting aside maybe 10-15% of that income and doing it right away and not touching it, you are going to build up the dollars that you need for a down payment.
Definitely, that's perfect. Well, I want to thank you for sitting down with me today discussing what you guys do for the St. Albert Housing Society, and I really appreciate all the information and definitely could use that information for the future for myself and for many others in the
that's
city.
Wonderful.
So perfect. So thanks for watching, everybody. My name is Brandon Elias with Second Edition.
A team of breast cancer survivors are heading to New Zealand this month to represent Edmonton at the New Zealand's Dragon Boat Festival.
The group of friends called Breast Friends support each other and inspire other survivors. One row at a time, Jana Humamil has more.
A theory stated that breast cancer survivors should be discouraged from repetitive upper body movements. But a study in 1998 actually proved that wrong. Today, I'm at the Central Alliance Recreation Center to have a chat with breast friends.
And rest, standing up, switch sides. 3, 2.
I'm here with Shannon Turgeon, the president of Breast Friends. How has Breast Friends impacted the community here in Edmonton?
Breast Friends is a dragon boat racing team. We are a team completely made up of breast cancer survivors. The impact has been a means to allow women and men who have gone through a diagnosis of breast cancer to connect in an environment that is positive and uplifting and reinforces the benefits of living a healthy life and keeping active to ensure that we stay healthy post-treatment.
Thank you so much, Shannon, for joining me. And now I'm with Coach Danny Diaz, the coach for the Breast Friends. So what is it like working with Breast Friends?
It's fantastic. It's so new for me, and it's so wonderful just to see where they started a couple of years back to where they are now. It's such a progress that everybody's made, not just specific to paddling, but just for daily life, daily activities. They've really come a long way.
Thank you so much, Coach Danny.
Thank you.
I'm here with Colleen Hemsley, the Public Relations Committee of Breast Friends. So this is your second year with Breast Friends.
This is just my second year, yes.
So what was the 2 years like with Breast Friends?
I'll just start with, I wasn't even sure that I could do this. You know, I've come through a cancer treatment which seemed rather hard, and life kind of threw some other things my way, and I wasn't sure. And I have things that I want to do in my life, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to reach out, I'm going to join, I'm going to try. And that first race, when I crawled out of the boat because I was absolutely done, because I had given it my all, I was just so elated and so excited, grateful, like to be surrounded by these women that were there with me. They knew what I was going through, and I just was like elated.
Thank you so much, Colleen, for joining me today. In a week from now, Breast Friends is leaving to New Zealand to compete against 105 teams. It's deeply appreciated if everyone continues their undying support for the team. I'm Jana Humamil for Second Edition.
Spring has finally sprung, and that means the gardens are starting to bloom.
Yeah. The Orchid Society of Alberta has recently held an event during the flower season and educate us about orchids. Our H has more.
Thanks, guys. We're here with Daryl from the Orchid Society, who's the show chair, and we're going to ask him a few questions about what it takes to run this event and also grow orchids. Okay, so the first question we have for you is, what's the rarest orchid?
Oh, that's a good question. There's 26,000 species, so there's probably a whole list of rare that are hard to find and seldom seen. But so, it's not one plant, that's for sure.
The second question we have for you is, what is the growing process like?
It varies from impossible to easy. Ones you can buy at your greenhouses and your big box stores. You know, you can plunk those on your in a windowsill and have success. And other things require specific climate control of specific temperature ranges, humidity, light levels, etc. So you don't want to plunk that in your kitchen table because it'll soon die.
Where is the most population of orchids?
The equatorial regions is the most populous area, but there are orchids in every continent with the exception of Antarctica.
And what is the significance of putting this event on here in Edmonton?
Designed to feed the addictions of the various orchid people. We bring in the vendors from Ecuador and Taiwan and in the United States and local vendors as well. And people come to buy more plants, more orchid plants. And then of course those of us that are growers, a part of the society, then we show off our handiwork. And it's also an American Orchid Society judged event. and that's sort of a world-class judging standard. So if your plant is awarded by the American Orchid Society, that means it's a world-class.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us. This is Daryl, the show chair for the Orchid Society. For second edition, I'm Woo H.
Coming up after the break, buckle up and hold on tight and see the thrill of bucking bulls.
Also, we'll have a look at some of the best spots in town. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Second Edition. Whether you're an artist looking for inspiration or just curious about reused art, we got you covered in a moment.
But first, grab your cowboy hat and boots, because let's head to the ranch for some heart-pounding action. Here's our Karis Jorgensen.
Rodeo season is starting, and the controversy of opinions on how these animals are treated is never ending. As he just told you, these bulls love what they do.
Hi, I'm Karis Jorgensen with Second Edition News, and to me, these big, gentle giants hold a special place in my heart. So I wanted to take a moment before rodeo season takes off swinging and give you some information a little bit more behind what they do.
People believe that the bucking bulls are mistreated and forced in painful ways to buck. But just like the bull riders, these animals love to compete and even train for their best performance. I had the chance to come to Gypsy D Ranch to talk to Cantrell Gravel that raises these animal athletes for the rodeos on how long he's raised them and what he feels is the biggest misconception about the rodeo world.
We've been raising bulls for about 22 years. My dad and my mom started when I was really young, like before I was even born. They started raising bulls. They think we use and abuse these bulls, and we don't. They get treated like athletes because they are athletes. Like they're treated like athletes. Like they get grain, good grain, supplements, whatever they need for anything. Like no, they get treated really good. So that's the only misconception there.
As this bull comes out of the gate, take a look at the two items wrapped around him. You have the green one, which is the dummy weight, meant for practice and training. Then you have the flank strap, which is the rope wrapped around his waist. This rope is where the misunderstandings come in. This is the flank strap. Most people think this is wrapped around the bull's reproductive parts to aggravate him into bucking. However, as you can see, the flank strap is simply wrapped around the bull's waist like a belt, giving him something to kick at.
I hope after seeing this, it brings some clarity to your views on the rodeos, and this season you can get out there and enjoy them a little bit more. With Second Edition News, I'm Karis Jorgensen.
As an international student living in Edmonton for over a year, I already have my favorite spots in the city. Some of them may even seem familiar to Edmontonians, but others not so much.
Let's go around with me. I'm Fernanda Rocha for Second Edition.
Located on the corner of 120th Street and 107th Avenue, Manchester Square offers unique architecture and atmosphere, bringing a touch of Europe to the area. Manchester Square opened in March 2020, and since then, content creators have been coming to the building to take photos and to record videos like me.
Man, I really like this place, but now I started to feel hungry. By the way, let's go to my second place? Let's go with me.
Pampa Brazilian Steakhouse is my favorite restaurant in town. As the name suggests, this is the place I come to when I want to taste the food from my back home. The unit I like to go to is on the west side. It works 7 days a week, and its flagship is the varied buffet of Brazilian food, where you pay a fixed price and can eat as much as you like.
This is delicious, man. And not far from here is my last spot. And do you remember what I said in the beginning? Let's go with me.
A cemetery? Yes, a cemetery. This one is right in front of where I live, and I love to go for walks around here, even when it's snowing. It's gorgeous, quite different from cemeteries in Brazil, where the vast majority of people are afraid to go through one. Here, I feel the peace and silence of those who are gone.
Thanks for watching. I'm Fernanda Rocha for Second Edition.
We've explored a range of topics from creative and sustainable art
To the best spots in Edmonton and bucking bulls.
Unfortunately, that's all we have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching and join us again next week on Second Edition.